Good evening and welcome to ITV News. This is Friday night's calendar.
Yes, hello, good evening. Here are tonight's main stories.
This afternoon, the future of British Steel hangs in the balance. Jobs, investment, growth.
Parliament will be recalled tomorrow so MPs can vote on emergency laws designed to protect steelmaking in Scunthorpe.
We've just been told the blast furnaces here were hours from being turned off. Now this major move has been welcomed by workers.
I'm absolutely elated, and I know most of the workforce will be, because we've been waiting for this. It looks like the government's prepared to step in, which is absolutely what the workforce wants and absolutely what the town wants.
I'm in Westminster with the details of how the government plans to step in as it races to save steelmaking in Britain.
We'll have all the latest on what's become a fast-moving story. Also tonight...
Nothing. So there's nothing in that needle? No.
Jail for the nurse who attempted to murder a record store owner in Northallerton with a needle in an unprovoked attack.
If he's got any humanity, he'll give me an explanation.
Never underestimate the women!
Tributes are paid to Scargill, the campaigner and former wife of miners' leader Arthur, whose death was announced today.
And on one of the warmest days of the year so far...
I'm at Headingley for Yorkshire's first home game of the season. It's been beautiful blue skies in cracking first-class cricket.
And I'm at Centenary Riverside Nature Park in Rotherham. It's been a brilliant week. We've had a very settled and prolonged spell, and this has provided a really good start for butterflies. All the detail a little later on.
So first tonight, after a nail-biting few weeks, the threat to thousands of workers' jobs in Scunthorpe may have been lifted tonight with the news that Parliament is to be recalled for a rare Saturday sitting aimed at keeping the town's British steel plant open.
Ministers have been racing to avoid the firm's collapse and the loss of 2,700 jobs after the Chinese owners said they could no longer afford to keep the plant's 2 blast furnaces running.
And it's emerged the furnaces could have been shut down within hours. And the hasty return of MPs from their Easter break is needed to sign off emergency legislation ensuring the continued operation of the furnaces. Well, we'll be getting the very latest from Westminster and what could happen tomorrow in just a moment. But first, let's head straight to Scunthorpe, where Amelia Beckett has spent the day. And Amelia, this news really has only just broken, hasn't it? What's been the reaction so far?
That's right, Ian. It's been changing all day. We knew that over the last 2 weeks, the Chinese owners Jinghe had been in discussion with the government about a bailout to keep the blast furnaces here running. After they rejected that initial offer, unions hoped that they would work towards a solution. But in the last hour, we've learnt that Jinghe had planned to close the furnaces here immediately. That, of course, was the union's worst fear. And up until this morning, they say they didn't know if the government was going to step in. Now they are recalling to Parliament tomorrow to discuss what people here hope will be the saviour of Scunthorpe Steelworks. It's been shrouded under a cloud of uncertainty for weeks. Today, 2,700 workers at Scunthorpe Steelworks have been handed a lifeline.
We are recalling Parliament tomorrow for a Saturday sitting. We will pass emergency legislation in one day to give the Business Secretary the powers to do everything possible to stop the closure of these blast furnaces. And as I have said, we will keep all options on the table. Our future is in our hands. This government will not sit back and just hope. We will act to secure Britain's future with British steel, made in Britain, in the national interest.
Tony is a fourth-generation steelworker. We were sitting with him as he got that news.
Come at just the right moment. It's brilliant. I'm absolutely elated, and I know most of the workforce will be, because we've been waiting for this. I understand that the talks between the government and the company haven't been wholly successful. It looks like the government's prepared to step in, which is absolutely what the workforce wants and absolutely what the town wants and the local community wants. I want the government to step in, take hold of this business and make sure that we've got a future going forward.
As a trade union rep, he spent the past 2 weeks fighting for his job after British Steel's Chinese owners Jingye rejected a government bailout offer of £500 million to keep the plant's blast furnaces running. Talks between them reached crisis point when Jingye cancelled future orders of the raw materials needed to keep the furnaces going. And with only enough left to power them until May, time was running out.
This morning we weren't sure that nationalisation would come. For the last 2 days there's been some intense talks between the government and the company, and we've reiterated on a number of occasions to our senior trade union officials and to government that we were running out of time. If they needed to do it, they needed to do it now. Now I don't want to count my chickens, but yeah, we're hoping tomorrow that that's what's going to happen. They're going to push the button on nationalisation.
The blast furnaces here are the last two remaining in the UK. Jingye had wanted to close them and replace them with greener electric arc furnaces. But not only would that have caused job losses, it would have meant the UK losing its ability to make virgin steel, which is essential for the defence industry. And in a world of Donald Trump's tariffs and a war in Ukraine, it's clear today the government did not want that compromised.
Well, I think they realise that being the only G7 country without capacity domestically to make virgin steel would be a serious threat to our economy and also national security. Steel has a number of military implications, and in things like railways, the sort of things where you wouldn't necessarily want to be relying on a domestic supplier to import steel on that sort of project.
Tomorrow will be the first time Parliament has been recalled since 2021. The Prime Minister says it shows action taken in the name of British industry, British jobs, and for British workers. Here, people hope it'll be the lifeline that stops these steelworks that tower over their town from toppling.
Well, we'll be going back to Scunthorpe shortly, but now let's head down to Westminster, where MPs will be tomorrow, and join our political correspondent David Wood. David, what more do we know exactly about what will happen tomorrow?
The logistics for the day: MPs will file in at about 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, where they will have one thing to debate and vote on, and it's the Steel Industry Special Measures Bill that will then work its way through the House of Lords and the government hopes become law by the end of the day. This place works very slowly. Tomorrow it's going to work pretty quickly to try and save British Steel. What that will do is allow the Business Secretary the powers to manage the plant, manage the site, keep the furnaces going, save those jobs and keep steel making going in this country.
And so are we seeing nationalisation here, David?
No, I don't think we are, and the government is keen to say that we're not there yet. Effectively, I think of it as the Business Secretary being the manager, not the owner. But I think it's also very clear that the relationship between the government and the owners of British Steel is in a particularly bad place. I think negotiations have been going on seemingly in good faith, but I think the government is not impressed with today's development, which is why it is saying it's having to step in with this emergency legislation tomorrow. But what I think is also clear is the government is desperate to keep steel making. It's also desperate to save the jobs at Scunthorpe. So this is very, very close to nationalisation, and I think the government would rather nationalise the plant than let it fail. What it probably is looking for, I think, is a co-investor to go in to help get some of the losses off the government's books. But this is close to nationalisation.
Briefly, can you sum up the feeling amongst MPs?
I think there's a lot of relief. Reform want to see British Steel nationalised. The Conservatives say that should only be last resort, and the Liberal Democrats are saying all options should be on the table. MPs are racing back here to Westminster. I think that law will go through tomorrow, and there will be a lot of relief amongst MPs.
David Wood in Westminster, thank you.
Well, back to North Lincolnshire to rejoin Amelia now. And Amelia, you've been getting some more reaction from the unions there, haven't you?
That's right. I'm joined now by Charlotte from the GMB union, and I'll just start, Charlotte, by asking for your reaction to this news today.
It's a really positive first step. We're pleased that government are taking action to secure the blast furnaces, and we hope that this is the first step on a road to nationalisation.
Of course, all eyes on Westminster tomorrow. We don't exactly know what this is going to look like. What are you hoping for?
We're hoping that it will move Jingye out of the way of steel making here in Scunthorpe, that the legislation passed will ensure that government can secure the raw materials to keep the blast furnaces going, and that this is the first step in a process of securing British steel in the interest of national security.
When you heard that they were literally going to close those furnaces today, how did you feel?
We've been warning Jingye about this for a couple of weeks now, and the focus of all of our consultation meetings have been about securing these raw materials so we didn't end up in this position. It's obviously incredibly worrying news for the workforce and for our community, and this announcement couldn't have come at a better time.
All right, Charlotte, thank you ever so much. As you heard there, all eyes on Westminster tomorrow. This isn't just about those 2,700 jobs, it's about the whole of Scunthorpe, a town literally built on steelmaking.
Amelia Beckett, live at Scunthorpe, thank you.
And for the very latest developments on this story, which, as we said, is fast-moving and complex, and to find out what's going on with those MPs being recalled to Westminster, you can keep up to date with everything by heading to the calendar section of the ITV News website. You just need to go to itv.com/calendar. That's itv.com/calendar. And there you can find more of our stories and watch our programmes. Again, there will also be more information on the moves with British Steel on ITV Network News coming up shortly after calendar this evening.
A former medic who injected a record shop owner with a drug in what's been described as an entirely motiveless attack has been sentenced to life today for attempted murder.
58-year-old Darren Harris from Middlesbrough stole the drug from the hospital where he worked. He'd spent several hours posing as a customer at Better Days Records in Northallerton last July before stabbing Gary Lewis with a needle.
And there's still been no explanation as to why he set out to kill Mr. Lewis, as Jenny Henry reports.
I take the record off him, put it into a bag, turn, he's paid in cash, turn.
Gary Lewis recalling the moment he thought might be his last.
Out of the corner of my eye, I see his head. He was knelt down and his head is level with my hip, and he stabbed me through this area here.
Stabbed with a needle by a total stranger who he believed just wanted to buy a record.
And people call about a random attack. It wasn't random, it was anything but random. It was deliberate, it was planned. There's not many people more than him would have known the effect of that drug. It wasn't just an attack, it was an attempted murder, which he's been convicted of, and that plays with your mind.
Darren Harris used a needle he'd stolen from James Cook Hospital where he worked. A needle loaded with an anaesthetic drug called rocuronium.
I remember being on the floor, totally unable to move a muscle, make a noise. I could hear things. I could hear people saying, "Can you hear me, Gary?" I heard the sirens. I could hear a police officer saying what was in the syringe. And my heart stopped on the footpath.
Before he collapsed, Gary managed to chase Harris out of the shop, and neighbours helped detain him until police arrived.
What have you injected?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
So there's nothing in that needle?
No. I haven't got a needle. I have a 10mm syringe with water. The doctors are absolutely certain that's what saved me. If I'd stayed where I was, I would have had the heart attack without anybody being around me, and the next person to walk in the shop would have found me. By that time I wouldn't have had a chance to be recovered and nobody would have come to help me. Luckily I went out and it was meant to happen. I wasn't meant to.
Police say they could find no motive for the attack. Questions Gary may never get the answer to.
The biggest thing for me is I have no idea why. It's baffled the police, it's baffled the barrister, it's baffled the court, it's probably baffled the hospital. I'm not going to plead with the guy, but if he's got any humanity, he'll give me an explanation.
Well, Jenny, that's clearly a really distressing incident. Was there any reaction after today's sentencing?
Yes, well, here at Leeds Crown Court today, ahead of sentencing, the judge had ordered a psychiatric report which found that Harris was likely suffering a depressive illness at the time, but confirmed that that's no excuse for what he did. And during the judge's remarks today, Harris was seen visibly shaking, crying and clutching on to a set of rosary beads. Judge Simon Phillips told him it was a peaceful, public-spirited, friendly scene that you chose to turn upside down, unexpected and earth-shattering in equal measure. And today, Mr. Lewis has called for an inquiry into what happened.
I hope one day to find an answer as to why I was targeted so violently. I also look forward to more communication through South Tees Trust. I've had no communication so far, and I believe the circumstances of this man's actions deserve a full inquiry for the public safety.
Are you happy with the sentence, Gary?
I didn't know what to expect. I'm just happy that he's behind bars.
Well, in response to that, the South Tees NHS Trust, which runs the hospital where Harris worked, said a full internal review was carried out following the incident and concluded that everything was fully compliant with national guidance. Now, this is a shocking case. It's a case with no rhyme or reason. And today, a man that spent so much of his life making people better is starting a new life behind bars.
OK, Jenny Henry at Leeds Crown Court, thank you.
Tributes have been paid to the women's activist and campaigner Anne Scargill, who's died at the age of 83.
Never underestimate the women!
Anne, the former wife of Yorkshire NUM leader Arthur Scargill, helped form the Women Against Pit Closures movement and became a prominent protester during the year-long miners' strike.
The All Grieve Truth and Justice campaign said they'd lost a comrade, sister and wonderful friend. The author of a book chronicling her life says she stood up for her community.
She was a warrior. She was a shining example of a working class woman. She was tough, feisty. She was kind and very gentle as well. And that, what a combination, that, to be as hard as coal at one moment and then as gentle and kind as a lamb in another.
Yes, memories of Anne Scargill, who's died at the age of 83. Now then, a charity celebrating its 25th year anniversary is gifting thousands of pounds of specialist technology to hospices across the country, including in our region.
Yes, Lifelight supply hospices in the UK with devices that provide mental and emotional stimulation, helping them go beyond the limitations of the hospice environment.
And it helps children with severe disabilities or life-limiting illnesses to play with their siblings and families, as Chloe Oliver has been finding out.
Mesmerised by the interactive animation, Isla Skies loves coming to this hospice in Huddersfield to play. The 11-year-old has various health conditions, but the sensory technology allows her to play in a space she feels comfortable.
Some of the normal everyday technology that children tend to use, the handheld consoles, it's quite difficult for our children to use those because of the manual dexterity they need or the hand-eye coordination. So this assistive technology really helps our children to have access to all those kind of things. They're also able to bait themselves, they can operate their electric whisks, and that really helps with their well-being, because they've been able to be independent and do things for themselves.
Lifelights is celebrating 25 years with a special campaign, helping support 21 health and social care services over the next 3 years. And they'll be spending more than £500,000 to make it happen. And that means even more children will get to experience this amazing technology. The charity's gadgets currently reach 13,500 children in hospices across the country, like Habiba. She has Merison deficient muscular dystrophy, a progressive muscle wasting disease that currently has no cure. But thanks to this technology, she can still bake, using an eye sensor to choose her ingredients and a button-operated mixer to adjust the speed. And today, she's getting a little extra help from Great British Bake Off finalist Josh Smalley as they whip up some rainbow cupcakes together.
Technology that we provide unlocks skills and abilities in children to enable them to overcome some of the barriers that they face and to express themselves, to play with brothers and sisters, and to really get a sense of family connection, which might otherwise be impossible.
The bright lights and sounds bring joy to children even in tough times. The charity's mission is to help more children connect and make lasting memories with their families. Chloe Oliver, ITV News.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Now that it's been an absolutely beautiful day today, I hope you've been enjoying it. And in fact, it's been one of the hottest of the year so far. And I don't know about you, Lisa, but it lifts the mood, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And if you were in Whitby today, it was absolutely stunning. This is how it looked. Really bright sunshine for anyone who was lucky enough to make their way to the coast today.
Looks good, doesn't it? Very, very nice. Wish I'd been there. Never mind. This is the view in Rotherham right now. We'll have more from there in just a moment.
But first, let's take us over to Headingley, where cricket fans have spent the day lazing in the sunshine, watching Yorkshire in action in their first home game of the season.
Yes, well, the White Rose are back in Division 1 and looking to pick up their first win of the campaign. And watching them there for us today is our sports reporter, Arif Ahmed. And Arif, how have they been getting on? Where are you?
Yeah, here I am, Ian. Welcome to Headingley. And as you can see, Yorkshire are just in the last few overs of play, and this, let me tell you, Ian, is perfect cricketing weather. Beautiful blue skies, the sun is shining. Yorkshire are batting. They have been all day, and let me tell you, they have been putting on a show for the 1,000 or so fans that have come out to watch the first day of action. Spring sunshine bathed over Headingley this morning. Perfect conditions for Yorkshire's first home game of the season. The combination of warm weather and the sound of willow and leather enticed a strong crowd. Beautiful Friday morning. Yep. Here at Headingley, sun is shining. Is there anywhere else you'd rather be?
Probably not on a beautiful Friday morning in Yorkshire, no. No, it's beautiful. Yeah, lovely day for cricket.
Whatever the weather, you would come. You want to catch up with all your friends, people you've not seen over the winter. So, yeah, the cricket is a really, really nice bonus. But the weather, meeting up with old friends, yeah. You think about people who were working and you think, would I rather be working or would I rather be here? It's a no-brainer.
We still come. We've been coming for a few years and sat through rain and hail and all sorts to watch the cricket. So, yeah.
Is it rare to see the sun shining then?
Oh,
it is in April.
Rare. Yes, in April. But it's lovely. It makes it sort of so much better, that's for sure.
After winning promotion last season, Yorkshire are back in Division 1. They made their losing start last week, but hope to make home advantage count this week. Having been put into bat, Yorkshire made a strong start. Opener Adam Lyth reached his half-century just before lunch. After a flurry of wickets in the afternoon, Yorkshire's new white ball captain David Malan steadied the ship with a 50 of his own. Well, David Malan was just 2 runs away from reaching a century, but in the last 20 or so minutes, he's lost his wicket. He was out for 98. He'll be deeply disappointed with himself for that. But he's put Yorkshire in a very strong position. They're edging towards 400. So today has been very much Yorkshire's day.
Arif, it's proving to be one of the most hotly anticipated promotion races in recent years in the Football Championship, hasn't it?
Oh, certainly it has, Lisa. I've certainly, for one, have never seen it so close. When there's just 5 games left in this season, Leeds United will be looking to keep hold of top spot in the Championship this weekend. Now, the Whites went back top of the Championship on goal difference after beating Middlesbrough in midweek. They welcome Preston North End to Ellen Road tomorrow lunchtime. Fellow promotion-chasing Sheffield United are also in action at the same time tomorrow. Their head coach, Chris Wilder, won Manager of the Month for March, but he wants to see his team return to winning ways. Having lost the last 2 league games, they travel to bottom of the table Plymouth.
Yeah, constant period of the season. To be honest, for Leeds United, it's more or less always crunch time because you have this pressure to represent this club. So you have to concentrate on each and every game and have to stay calm, keep your nerves and concentrate what you can influence. And what we can influence is definitely also like the game tomorrow. And for that, we want to be on it.
We're in the game for results, and to lose 2 games of football at this stage of the season is not going to help our cause in terms of where we want to be. We're still in a fabulous position, but talking about to the players, we just have to focus on putting in a really good performance on Saturday afternoon and getting the win and getting us back to winning ways.
Now, there's about 4 overs of play left here. The sun is shining, so I hope you guys have a good evening because I'm off to watch some cricket.
All right for some. I'm actually off to play cricket.
Oh, right. Well, I'm not. But I hope you have a lovely time, Arif. Thank you very much indeed. Don't mind us working, will you? Now, perfect weather, of course, for cricket and perfect weather, too, for a walk in the countryside. And if you have been out and about, well, you might have seen the odd butterfly or two.
Which is good news because there's been a dramatic fall in butterfly numbers over the last year. But it does look like the situation's improving.
Yes, and one place where you're almost sure to see butterflies is the Centenary Riverside Nature Reserve in Rotherham, which is where we've sent our Kerry tonight. And Kerry, have you seen any butterflies?
I've seen a few earlier on. It's been very warm for them today. They've been very active. It's been about 22 Celsius. I've gone urban though, not countryside, you guys. I've got a railway behind me, there's the River Don in front of me, and Rotherham city centre is a stone's throw away. And as you can see, I'm not at Stonehenge, I'm at Steelhenge. There's lots of industrial history here and heritage. It used to be the Seven Sisters Steel Foundry. Then it became derelict almost, overgrown, and then we had the floods of 2007. And that's where the Wildlife Trust took over and started regenerating the area. It's a brilliant floodplain as well as a nature reserve. And I'm going to bring in Ben Keywood now, who's an entomologist, or to you and I, an insect expert. Yes, we're talking about butterflies. We can't see them all flying around here. It's a natural habitat, but we have been looking for them today. You have throughout this season, the spring and summer season, 23 species, don't you? What have we been finding today? We saw about 8, didn't we?
About 8 species, yes. We've had quite a few. The beautiful orange tip is out now, the lovely yellow, brimstone, lots of butterflies. 8 is great for April. And this site is good for butterflies because we manage it with beautiful meadows with lots of wildflowers.
Yeah, so weather plays a key part, doesn't it? Because we didn't have many butterflies this time last year.
That's right. The weather can affect the caterpillars. If the weather is really bad, then the caterpillars, if it's really wet, the caterpillars can drown. If it's really dry, their food plants can dry up, so the caterpillars can't feed. And then the butterflies themselves, if it's windy, they can't successfully pair and they can't successfully lay their eggs, so then the next generation is affected, and that's what happened last year.
Yeah, really warm today, so they have been active. We were very hard to actually take photographs of them, weren't we? Yeah. Just once before we go, top tips for spotting them if you're in your garden or your balcony.
The main thing is to plant wildflowers, which brings the butterflies in, and just let your garden go a little bit wild.
Let your garden go wild, let everything grow, you guys. Oh, it's been a beautiful Friday here. Here is your forecast.
Today's forecast: seafood and sugar cube towns. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
So yes, today's temperatures have been around 8 to 10 degrees above where we'd expect for the time of year, but this prolonged settle spell is now expected to end as we head through the weekend. So tomorrow actually not bad, fine, dry, bright, still feeling warm, bit more cloud, bit more of a breeze. On Sunday though, a transition to cooler, cloudier conditions, and then it becomes more changeable as we head into next week. Essentially, we lose the high pressure, low pressure takes charge, so stronger winds, cloudier skies, and showers or longer spells of rain never too far away, and it will feel cooler despite the temperatures still being above average, certainly cooler compared to the last few days. Overnight tonight, it's mostly dry and clear with light winds. That will allow for the temperatures to take a tumble once more at lower levels. Bit of a topsy-turvy temperature situation overnight tonight, where the hills will be 8 or 9 Celsius. But we're dry as we head into Saturday, and there is sometimes as we head into the weekend. A big thank you to Jake for the shot. So tomorrow it starts off dry, it will be a warm day, bright for the morning, a little bit more cloud for the afternoon, a noticeable breeze but from a warm direction and bringing in a little bit more in the way of cloud. But it's not really until after dark that we see things start to turn cloudy and showery into the early hours of Sunday. And Sunday itself will be a mix of sunny spells and showery outbreaks, but temperatures, although above average, will feel cooler, and that's the theme over the next few days. More changeable, definitely feeling cooler. Take care. See you soon.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Well, you know, I tell you what, it's been really nice having Lisa here all week. You've worked really hard. You've earned a break.
It's been a busy week, hasn't it? It's been a busy. I don't know. Talk about breaks. Kerry's out chasing butterflies. Now Arif's watching the cricket. I think they got the plum jobs today.
And you're off to play cricket?
I'm off to play cricket. Pre-season training.
What, right now?
Anytime, yeah.
Amazing. Well, have a wonderful weekend, won't you? We'll see you again next week.
Bye-bye.
Good night.